There was a lot of unknowns.
The
It
next
took
couple
about
months?
7 or 10 days to really find out the status of all the properties and to know. But we really leaned into who we were as a company and who the family was and core values. We believe that family matters. We believe in exceeding expectations, and we believe we're generous stewards. So we defaulted to who we were, and we began to serve our owners, serve the community, serve the first responders, serve the National Guard. Our office was spared. We did it as a distribution center for meals, for bathrooms, for food. And Gatlinburg was basically virtually shut down for about 2.5 months. And so we were in triage, at that moment. And going through our minds was, we just need to take the next step and do the right thing. And in that time, we really began to increase our exposure on social media through FaceTime Lives and becoming a news source for our followership, increasing brand loyalty. People love Gatlinburg, and we found out that they really love our company and they love all the experiences they had, and they wanted us to win. They wanted us to succeed. And that just gave us so much energy to move forward and to become resilient in a difficult time. And, we're one of a million stories in the whole Smokies during that time, that of people that were mountain tough, and did respond and saw this as an opportunity to give back to the community.
It sounds like you guys, I admire your integrity. Even I've heard stories, personal stories, and close friends who've experienced, even from flooding recently in the area, some pretty horrible experiences with people who didn't have a whole lot of integrity, trying to capture as much money or keep as much money as possible. How did you guys have that kind of baseline of who you guys were as a company before you even arrived on the scene, or did you kind of create that? Because even to make that decision to give all of those cabin owners an ultimatum and say, here's our standard, if you can't meet that, then we'll have to give you up. A lot of people wouldn't do that, because that means losing a lot of business. So anyway, I guess, when did that come into play? Was it already in place, or did you kind of put that in place?
Yeah, I would say in 2012, we as a family, my wife and her siblings, we all really felt like we had something very special at Mountain Laurel, but we weren't crafting or telling the story, and it wasn't branded fully. But there was such rich service and heritage and generosity. And so we entered into a deep dive on branding, and I hired Matchstick, which is a consulting company in Atlanta that does a lot of Chick-fil-A, a lot of national work, Chick-fil-A and Delta and so forth. Excellent firm. And we did extensive surveying of our owners, of former owners, of guests, of happy guests, of dissatisfied guests, of employees. And in that comprehensive surveying, came up with some qualitative and quantitative discoveries that really shaped and formed our core values. And I said those quickly before, but from that time, we didn't create core values. We just mined them. We just discovered what they always had been. And they're really core values that are grounded by my wife's family and her parents and what they had just did naturally. They weren't the best business people. They were the best people to run a business.
Yeah.
And that showed through in spades. And so our 3 core values that we believe that family matters. Our guests are family. They're part of the Mountain Laurel Chalet's family. Our employees, our owners. You have hard conversations with families. You believe the best in family, and you want to treasure your family. And so that's how we deal with relationships, even with vendors. Working with y'all and our on Brightside, the PMS. It's a partnership, and it's a part of our family culture. The other one is that we believe in exceeding expectations, and that's going above and beyond. And it's kind of a sacrificial sense of, I'm here to serve you. I'm here to give you surprise and delight, and go the extra mile when you might not expect that. And that's what my mother and father-in-law did in the Gatlinburg community. They exceeded expectations left and right. And the last one I think is very unique to us as a company, and is a representative of who we are, is that we believe we are generous stewards. So we are stewarding our community, the environment, the national park, our guests' hard-earned money for their vacation. We're stewarding their time. We're stewarding our owners' homes and caring for them. I'm stewarding employees and their families and their livelihoods. And a steward is given something that is not theirs, and the goal is to return it back to the owner better than it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want to look at every relationship we have, from a guest to an owner to employees to our partners, as being generous stewards. And I think generosity is you can never lose by really living with the generosity mentality as opposed to a scarcity mentality. And scarcity leads to competitiveness and fear and pulling other people down. But generosity means that, hey, let's have all the ships in the harbor rise, and
Right.
we can all win, and it can be a win-win solution for people. So those core values came as we did our research and our surveying and our asking questions, and then we created scenarios of how those were played out for the 30 years the company had been, or no, 40 years at that point in 2012. And we just began to see all these beautiful pictures, and we thought, we want to create these snapshots for the future of families, that what they experienced in the 70s with Mountain Laurel would be the same thing they would experience in the 2020s. Just had a couple in our office with a number 40 on both their shirts. They were celebrating their 40th anniversary. They come to our chalets 3-4 times a year, but they always come the first week of November for their anniversary, and they stay in one of our great houses. But they just kept sharing over and over about their experiences. And I thought, I am standing on the shoulders of my in-laws, who were forerunners and pioneers in this industry in the 70s, and really set the table for us with these core values. And all we did, Jacob, was discover what they were and craft them, tell the stories, put words to them, put beauty to that, and put values and how we do work. And it's just, that was so important to do to continue this legacy.
And Tom, what do you've spoken about, the last 5 decades. What are some of the things you're most excited about for your own business, for the industry, for Gatlinburg? What are you excited about for the next 10 years?
That's a great question, because our industry changes. It feels like every 3 months there's a new twist and a turn, and something to address and to pivot.